And we're back for the breakdown. And as I said, normally we leave out the front matter on things like this, right? If there are ads before the fucking show, we leave them out. But because of a combination of how short this week's video is and how bizarre this front matter is, we have to talk about the ads before this one, okay? So it starts off, this lady comes out and she's like, you know, them people in Hollywood, they don't know what we want to show our kids, do they?
Those Jews in Hollywood are turning your kids gay. Is how this VHS tape begins.
Yes. Yeah.
Crackles to life with a radio bar, and then someone says a slur for China. I mean, it is. I knew it had a place in our hearts and minds.
Well, she says we have a bunch of other videos, by the way. There's the singing place, which Eli will eventually make Noah watch.
Well, it's got Spunky and his human friend Reg, and celebrity guests like Jim Varney.
Yes,
Noah.
Ernest himself. So it's not Spunky and Reg, it's Spinky and Reg. Spellcheck did not want to let it be Spinky, though. It just kept changing, and I get it. Felt dirty to me too. Spellcheck.
Yeah.
Technically, I believe it's Spinky and his friend.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
Which they somehow made your friend sound like a slur.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's because I don't think he's actually human, right? As like all things Christian, right? Every accusation is a confession.
Oh, right. Like when they put Democratic in the name of the country, and you're like,
Exactly. Yeah.
This is neither a democratic or republic. I'm not even sure
Yes.
if it's in the Congo.
Yeah, right.
These states aren't united.
Yeah, right.
I'm just thinking that the Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers called and want their IP back.
Right.
Yeah.
It was it was like the Bizarro version.
Yeah.
Right.
If this crew is good at one thing, it's stealing IPs from other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, yeah, they say, so we've got
Jeez,
that, we've got
come on.
Spinky, and we've got his human friend Reg. We also have this other video,
the
Bible
hell?
Man, we're watching, and we're like, yeah, we know, we're watching.
I was like, oh shit, I'm trapped in a loop.
Yeah, right. But they do claim that Bible Man is action-packed, and I'm like, oh, I thought, I guess that's not a legally
Am I allowed to
protected
play or what?
term at all, is
Yeah,
it?
you can say whatever the fuck you want. Yeah.
Although, I will say, for me and Eli, this ad did serve as a lovely little, like, last time on Bible Man reminder.
Didn't it, right?
Yeah.
So as they're playing these clips, we're like, oh, right.
What's
the
up,
Fiddler.
Scapers?
I forgot about the Fiddler.
Let me full
We did it.
confession time. My favorite comic book.
I logged in. Alright, what's up, Scapers? It's your boy Takiru here. The first, the worst, the only homeless mobile daily streamer. We got 7 out of 8 relics. We did Varlamore, Asgarnia Desert for our areas. And right now we're trying to get as many medium clues as possible, because I keep running out. There's just never enough. And so instead of opening a couple and then getting disappointed and then, you know, back and forth, we're just gonna open, we're gonna catch it about 100 at a time, deposit, we then open our implings to get our clues. I'm gonna then have hopefully about 100 clues by the time I'm done grinding this out. Now we're a little bit laggy right now. My phone's kind of freaking out, I'm not gonna lie. So this may not be as easy to process as I'd like right now, but we'll see. Maybe the phone's just kind of getting into gear. I am like 91 clues without ranger boots or magic boots. Turn the podcast back on.
Of all time is the Riddler.
Is the Fiddler.
This
And
is
I saw
god
the
awful
Fiddler,
movies.
and I was like, oh, what did
An
they do to
atheist
my baby
podcast
boy?
that makes
Like,
fun of religious
what have you
content.
done?
Aw.
Okay, so this movie is 47 seconds long, so I am going to need to drag
Probably
this
one of my
podcast
favorite
to a
things.
halt and make you defend that. Sorry, you like the gay guy who kind of does puzzles? Take me there.
Okay, first of all, I'm pretty sure he is a bisexual that does puzzles.
Sure, sure.
And also, he's just a creepy, overly smart person who always wants to be like the smartest guy in every room. And as in someone who was constantly bullied in school, I get it. Like, I'm there for
Sure.
it.
You think all you were missing in high school was a green outfit,
A
and that
gimmick.
really would have pulled
Yeah,
it.
no, it's
Exactly.
Just any gimmick.
It's that you didn't commit to the bit enough.
Reno is a sucker for a gimmick, though.
I am a sucker for a good gimmick. Yeah,
He was the
Kite
best
Man.
part
Oh, yeah.
of Arkham Knights, right?
Yeah.
So the little puzzles, that was great. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is hard to defend. I won't deny that.
Yeah.
So-
Just when you say favorite comic book character, there are so many, and the Riddler's not even top 5 in Batman. So I did have to
Hey,
hold you to the
everybody
fire.
loves a lost cause.
And
Yeah,
tell
exactly.
that to the Batman 60s live action movie
Well,
because they
of
picked 4
course.
people and Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, and our boy.
Yeah.
Nope, that's fair.
Can't help but notice you switched over the 1940s movie where Batman uses racial slurs the entire time.
Wait, what?
Are you not aware? TikTok just found out about this, and it warms my heart to no end. There is a 1940s Batman movie where the villains are of Japanese descent.
Oh, no.
And it's and
that's
whatever
great.
you're picturing, it's worse.
Oh, no.
I promise
Yeah.
you, it's worse.
I mean,
Alright.
the covers of the comics during that time were like support war bonds and slap a slur I won't repeat.
Yeah.
yes,
No, right.
exactly.
So
yeah.
the fact
Commit a
that
hate crime for Superman.
yeah,
Yeah.
the fact that the television's movies followed suit, not too surprising.
All right, so we're doing a 47-minute video this week, so we can afford to get a little bit off topic, but I think we're about 4 diversions in right now. So I'm going to read this thing. We're still in the ads, folks. And we have to talk about the ad for Bible Smart, the fast, fun family card game that teaches us Bible verses.
Yeah, and this reminded me of the time a listener gave us Bible trivia, and we were like, oh, we're going to be great at this. We'll play it at Matreon. And then we tried 2 cards, and we realized we're not actually in that cult, so we don't have fucking verses memorized and
Yeah.
shit. We were like,
They also
oh,
had
never mind.
so many versions of it. There were like 4
Mm-hmm.
different packs you could buy. So many card games, so many ways to make you hate Saturday family game night.
Right,
As they're outroing, they describe the game as Bible Smart Card Games of Strategy. It felt like a Telegram ad for nudes, right? Hello, friend.
Also, what kind of strategy? I see your crucifixion and raise your resurrection.
Right, yeah. The strategists know the Bible.
I would play a Bible-based Dominion knockoff so hard.
Fuck yeah.
So hard.
Fuck yeah. So, okay, and then, like, that fades out. We're treated to another ad. This time, okay, so it starts off as an ad for Bible Man Live, which I'm going to Bible Man Live with Eli someday. We're going to just act like the audience seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan the whole fucking
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
The whole show. But it turned out they swerved, right? It started, they're like, Bible Man Live, and I'm like, and they're like, brought to you by Guidepost for Kids. And then the whole thing was about this magazine, Guidepost for Kids.
Yeah, for people who are sick of the fucking gay propaganda in zoo books. Tons.
Ooh, I got 3 in that inventory.
Yeah, exactly.
That was kind of
And,
gangster.
dude, I have so many questions about Wally the Turtle, right? So they have this child actor being like, they've got Wally the Turtle. He's so cool. Wally answers questions about parents, school, and God. And I was like, how many people do you think they went through a year
Whoops.
who killed themselves having to write as Wally the Christian Turtle? I bet that they don't even like give you a name tag on the door
I
when
was
you're
going
Wally
to
the
do
Turtle.
literature, guys.
I have the same degree as Elon.
Yeah.
I mean, it works both ways, though, right? Because you also don't have to sign your name to what you wrote,
Well, that's
which
true.
means you
yeah.
might can get a job somewhere in the future.
No,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. But this little girl, she takes us through and this little girl, by the way, in this ad is the best actor in the whole goddamn video.
She really
In all of
is.
Christian cinema.
It all goes to
She was actually very compelling. I believed that she loved the God's Mysterious Ways section where they tell you about how science is a bunch of fucking lies.
Well, they promised us we would hear from kids, plural.
Yes.
And they had kids, singular.
Yeah.
It was just a one fucking. You're right. They
Yeah.
ripped us off.
Yeah, so that kid had to bring it.
What kind of bait and switch bullshit was this? Fucking Christian Funky Brewster over here wasn't enough. So yeah, but Christian Guidepost for Kids, it has won several awards that you've never heard of, and they totally didn't make up. They give a website at the end too. I checked it; it is not operational. So
Sure
unfortunately.
isn't.
Yeah.
Sure isn't. Also not for sale. Otherwise, you would all see the hardcore porn I had put there when you looked it up.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we get a little teaser for some more, mainstream show stuff. This is part of the Guidepost family of magazines,
Yes.
everybody.
Right.
Yeah. A couple of those gave me flashbacks to my more pertinent church days.
Oh no.
You just see it and you're like, wait, I remember those on the pew after we would leave, and you just start shaking uncontrollably.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry. We
I'm
should,
okay now.
we should definitely guest spots on this show should come with a trigger warning, though, for sure.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Clarity magazine.
Well, and then one more ad, and we promise we're gonna get to the fucking video, guys. But then they show us they have like the CD collection that they're trying to sell us, the Heaven's Sake Kids.
And you know a CD collection is good when they open with, we didn't just fucking slap these together, okay?
What? That
We
was-
worked really hard.
That line was so much like showing up, like arriving home from a trip and telling your spouse, "I didn't cheat on you while I was gone."
Yeah, I almost went best worst premature apology commercial. 'Cause,
Very
man, they are
defensive.
so defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and they've got so many different CDs. You can listen to songs about Jesus,
Uh-huh.
silly songs,
That's the same picture.
Jesus,
Also Jesus.
and animals.
They tried to save on that art.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they just kept going over and over again with the same goddamn shit. Also, she says at the end of this, the voice comes in and says, 300,000 kids can't be wrong. I'm like, of course they can. They're kids.
And that's what kids do.
Yes,
Kids
yeah.
are talking about all sorts of
See
stuff.
skibbity as slang for an example.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you have divided our audience there.
Yeah, Cecilia, we're really trying to stay current, okay? Some of us are paying our bills with this, so if you could just say, it's awful skibbity in this Ohio at some point during the episode, just if you can work it out.
Well, it's Kids Bop, but worse. There,
Yes,
that shouldn't
somebody
divide
made
anybody.
Kids Bop fucking worse. Yes, thank you.
And Kids Bop changed suicidal to in denial, so there's a lot, it's hard to reach
They
the
did,
depths
didn't they?
that Kids Bop. We worked there.
All right, so all right, so okay, and then they finally make with the goods. We finally get the Pamplin entertainment thing comes up.
Yes, maker of Christian entertainment and your mother's period medication.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So, but they finally make with the Bible Man. We start off. The title card comes up and informs us that there's a Bible alarm in progress. Now, I don't want to spend forever on this title card, but it says that we are 120 degrees northeast of Schattsville, Oregon.
Right, the standard for all directions. Yeah.
Because apparently they think degrees are a unit of distance. Wait,
Maybe it's really hot there. Maybe it was just actual degrees.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. There
Yeah.
you go. So we start off, we see Bible Man's sidekick Coates. Now he's sneaking through this room as though he's crouched down like he's in a ventilator shaft, but he's not. He's just in a full-size room.
He's doing that thing in video games where if you crouch down, they can't see you.
This
Right.
is Metal Gear Solid. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. Exactly. That makes a lot more sense. But he's and the camera is sort of like tipping over as he walks, sort of a Dutch angle type thing going there.
Classy.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's on the radio and he's like, Bible Man, where are you? It's your show. And just then there's a laser blast from above and he's attacked by a vampire Jawa with a super soaker.
I almost went with this for my best worst, right? Because this is just the exposition guy, and they could not be less fucked to name him
Yep.
or care about who he is.
Yep.
They're just like, if it isn't a establishing bad guy.
Yes.
Who will be here for 3 seconds.
Yeah, right, exactly. And we'll never refer to again.
Trust us, he's got this coming.
Yeah. So, okay, and then there's this moment where, like, the baddie shoots Coates with the laser. Coates points, he's got these, like, little laser pointers on his wrist, and he points those at the bad guy, and I so wanted the bad guy to just get attacked by a bunch of cats.
Right, yeah.
But no, That's just their version of special effects, I guess. Those lasers are holding him for a second or whatever. While Bible Man runs late for his own fucking show. Right? So the establishing vampire Jawa guy shoots Coates with the super soaker, and just then Bible Man flips and then drops into the sea.
It's so fun because they very clearly got a few shots of a stunt person doing a flip, and then it was time to edit it. And because they're idiots, they were like, "Guys, do we need all of these flips?" And the other one was like, "We do." I think what I was thinking is they're all so good.
Yeah.
No cuts.
I wrote because they had the part when Bible Man comes down and there's this splash of water that seemed to be there for no reason. I really hope that's from where he washed his hands.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that water does not make any sense.
So, right, so he drops in, and Coach turns to him and he's like, "Hey, man, what took you so long?" And he's like, "Ask me what took so long?" Right? and he's like, Were you taking a shit? And Bible Man's like, "I was taking a shit, man. Why do you have to make me say out loud that I was taking a shit?"
Yeah, but it's not like a comedy moment. He's just like, "You were taking a shit," and he's like, "Yes, I was taking a shit."
Yeah.
He's like, "Cool. Do you want to murder this guy together?" "Yes, let's murder
Let's
this
finish
guy."
the murder.
After you embarrassed me in front of him, definitely.
He's got to die now for sure.
I thought the shitting was going to come back, and turns out he's under attack from the irritable Baron of Syndrome or something.
Well, so, okay, yeah, right. They're really narrow casting Bible Man to Eli now. But then Coates just explodes the bad guy with his wrist lasers.
Yes.
Yep.
Keep in mind, we watched someone's mom who disowned them for being gay at the very beginning of this tape say how violent Hollywood is. I have never seen a children's television show, except for Bible Man, explode a human into a pile of goo.
In 2 minutes. 2 minutes
Yeah.
in.
Yes!
Bible Man was also so incredibly unnecessary here.
did nothing!
Like, insert the meme of Tuxedo Mask where he pops
Yes.
in and says, "My job is done," but you didn't do anything.
Right!
And like
Exactly.
Coates made such a big deal of like, "Don't leave me hanging, bro," and like bro didn't do nothing.
No, unless his flips were, unless we're counting the flips, he's like, "Well, I did a front and back flip, actually, so..."
He can't go unless Bible Man is watching. It's the opposite of how I think.
All right, well, no kink shaming on god-awful movies. We'll accept that. So with we watched the bad guy. In case you're thinking to yourself, well, he didn't kill that guy, did he? They show us the remains of the guy. He's now just a green pile of ooze. And Bible Man, upon seeing a man reduced to burbling slime, says, "Don't you hate it when guys smoke?"
Yeah.
That's the line.
What's that?
Are they sending people to hell?
Oh my God,
Well,
they are. Right,
I
that's
guess
the
the
other
most-
thing.
I guess the most generous interpretation is that they are already demons who are just returning to their workplace.
But we find out later from the Master of Misery that he was an 8-year-old boy.
Yes.
So these are people.
Yes.
So these do appear to be humans.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe they're just possessed, right?
Maybe Bible Man's just a monster.
Yeah, I think that's the only real answer.
Yeah. Want to make an omelet? Got to crack a few eggs.
So Bible Man and Coates are standing there and they're just going like, there's been a lot of attacks recently and maybe they're all connected. And just as they're saying that, we back out to a mysterious bad guy we haven't met who is watching all of this on a camera, like a secret camera that he's got there.
Yeah, his themed lair TV.
Yes.
Which I liked. I wonder if you have to special order that, right? You're at Walmart being like, "And could I fit like a skull decor around the edges of this right one?"
I'm a bad guy. I wanted to scream, "I'm a bad guy." Yeah.
And at the end of this scene, the actor tries out different laughs, but again, they kept all of them, right? He's like, "Bible Man." Ha ha ha! Hee 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 hee! Ho ho ho! And they just kept them all, yeah.
Yep, once again. So, okay, and then we get the intro that is somehow always better and always worse than I remember it being.
God, I will say, these credits and the full armor of God are always funnier than I remember. It's always sillier, right? If you ask me to name it off the top of my head, I'm always going to say something less silly than the cod piece of purity or whatever the fuck it is.
Well, okay, so first of all, just a quick reminder, the entire intro boils down to Miles Peterson once wasn't Bible Man. but then he was, right? It's like he had a nervous breakdown in the rain and found a Bible buried in the ground before
Who does
him.
that?
I know. When I had a nervous breakdown in the rain, now I have to take a pill twice a day.
Yeah,
It doesn't
right.
make any sense. Yeah.
This is what would happen if they wouldn't let the Gideons put Bibles in the hotel rooms anymore. They would just
They would
have to
just
bury
bury 'em.
them
Yeah,
out
right.
in the world and hope someone finds them.
Also, why was he taking off his clothes? Like, he's straight up, like,
Yeah.
pulling his jacket off like he's in a bad 90s rom-com.
It's an angst play.
Yeah. I do love the idea, though, that if Eli went off his medicine for too long, he would become Bible Man.
I think it's an almost a certainty. No.
But yeah, the God light shines on him, and they do the whole "pull on the armor of God" thing, and they list it all off like Voltron is assembling or something.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I mean, you could have had more, though. You could have had, like, the cloak of chastity, the eye makeup of not working on the Sabbath. Like, you could have just kept going. I would have loved to see about 13 more pieces of God gear.
The knuckle dusters of not allowing witches to live.
Yeah.
All right, we got 25. I think that's a
We
good
didn't
start.
pay for the DLC, guys. We get the base armor, and that's it.
I hear you can win Game of the Year for those.
Yeah.
That's how to start real controversy on an
Right,
episode,
yeah,
people.
right.
We're getting
Damn.
Skippity Ohio. That was your chance. God damn it, Cecilia. Fuck.
Okay.
Amateurs. Have them on our show. I invite you to my home. Bring me 20-year-old memes, Cecilia. I need hot. I need fresh. I need dates. This episode's on a 2-week delay. Predict something. Decades died.
We'll see ourselves out.
All right, so then we cut to
I really hope Cecilia likes our show as much as Reno did. Join me for a whisper fight after
Yeah,
the
right,
podcast.
So then the titles come up and they tell us we're at Stedman Junior High. Junior highs are what we had before we had middle schools, kids.
Heck yeah.
This is the point where I realized that before I had watched the Amazon version of this, which was, I don't know, a gritty reboot or something.
Oh no!
I guess that's what teaches me to pregame. So I had to go back and watch, like, the
Oh,
right one.
so you've seen two, but
I've seen two
I feel like I
versions
got
of this,
punched
and
in the
what they
heart,
say,
dude.
They're both really bad.
yeah, right. There's not a good one. So okay, and I swear I'm not
Not a
gonna
great
spend the whole
feeling.
goddamn movie talking about the little titles that come up here, but them fucking up military time is almost a subplot in this movie, right?
Truly, yeah. They just know its numbers higher than 12.
Well, they don't even know that, right? So at this point they just have it listed as like 10:45 as with the colon and everything, but then they just put hours at the end instead of AM. They think that makes it military.
Oh, Lord. I honestly didn't even pay any attention to the little subtitle thingies for those numbers.
And you're better for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, when it's 47 minutes long, I have to pay attention to everything, right? All right, so now we cut to everybody leaving Miss Kendall's class, and there are two boys outside, Michael and some other character that never gets named, and they're having a bit of a heated altercation, right? Michael doesn't care about parties anymore because he's depressed. That's what we're learning in this scene.
Yeah, the teacher helpfully lets us know this by telling him that his grades are falling, and so is his attitude.
Your attitude is falling. Mrs. Kendall, do you want to go back out and try this again? Come back in?
I've seen after-school specials with better dialogue.
Oh,
Yeah, this was rough.
True. Yeah, no, this is did not make the cut of after school special, right? These are the embittered losers who didn't make it to Saved by the Bell levels of morality. Yeah.
Yep.
well, it's fuck Saved by the Bell, but like legitimately, like that is what we're dealing with, though, right? These are the writers that couldn't quite cut it for after-school specials. They wait, you know, it's like when a musician can't quite cut it in pop, they go to Christian pop, right? It's the same thing. That really is what's happening.
Yeah,
This
well,
is what happened to Ben Shapiro.
yeah.
It is.
I was just going to say, if you don't get recruited by Turning Point,
What was he trying for?
yeah.
Right. So then we check in Bible Man's cave. Again, they fuck up the military time. They say it's 10:57 hours with the colon, but it's the middle of the night, right? And they show us the cave in the dark. Or they show us Miles Manor or whatever in the dark, but the cave is near there. That's the establishing shot.
And Eunice is making Coates play hotter and colder for where she hid his keys or where he lost his keys. And can I say,
We should remind listeners that didn't listen to episode 155. Eunice is the compute.
well, first of all, if you aren't caught up on the Bible Man,
Spoilers.
that's none of my fucking business. You can't roll in like Cecilia with your young people takes. I'm out here on the bleeding edge of Christian cinema, okay? I've done 484 of these motherfuckers. Catch up. I've created a canon.
There's
of
a
the James
backlog.
Joyce of Christian cinema.
Okay.
We're really happy to be here.
Hey guys, I created a weird fucking vibe today. I do not know what it is. My son just won't use the potty. I'm really taking that out on y'all today, and I want to own that. I'm gonna do a press conference thing when we're done recording.
Potty training is a rough stage.
Thank you, Cecilia. Back on my good list. Not so much you, Reno.
Wait until they're teenagers.
All right, so Eunice is playing hot and cold with the keys with Coates when Bible Man comes in and he's got the sads. He's not feeling great.
Right, but because no one in this movie has ever admitted to the feeling of sadness, they're all describing it incorrectly to attribute to Noah's best worst, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, really? You're feeling sad? And it's like, what's that feel like? Well,
There's potatoes.
you squeeze tighter and you don't have gay thoughts. I'm not gay, is how it feels.
Also, and I apologize because I should have gone back and listened to the Bible Man episodes to make sure that I wasn't just making the same observations and jokes.
Because I've created a canon.
Right, well, exactly. I should know the canon, exactly. But, like, so we're in the budget bat cave, which is just, it's just cheap, scientific-looking stuff, but it has stained glass windows in the background because religion, right?
Because Christian.
Yeah, stained glass windows in the back and the weird lights that you can get from the back of a Spencer's Gifts.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my question is, like, they're supposed to be underground in a cave.
Yeah, he has to light them from the other
See,
side.
okay,
Oh,
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
There you go. All right.
He totally has lights set up just to shine through those.
Sure.
Right. But they all take turns complimenting Bible Man because that's what you need when you're having depression, right? Coates says that he's the greatest, and Eunice agrees that he's a total stud who could totally pick up high school girls if he wanted to.
Well, Bible Man straight up says maybe this is too much work for just one man, and I could see Coates like hiding his tears under his arm.
Right. What a dick thing to say to your sidekick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I could touch the Bible and give you some time off.
Or have a thing I could drive.
Here's the thing. Maybe my lasers could do a thing.
Or
and
a
we figure out what that
costume.
was. Yeah.
Like anything.
Anything. Yeah, right. A cape. I can have a cape. So, but just then, there's a transmission alert, which is their phone rings, right? Eunice comes up, transmission alert, and it's just Miss Kendall, who starts off her thing by going, Bible Man, thank you for taking my call.
Okay.
No.
How does Miss
Oh.
Kendall have direct access to Bible Man, right? Because, like, I get why Commissioner Gordon has Batman's number. I want to know what part of the middle school incoming curriculum was. And by the way, if you have a question or a problem for Bible Man, here's how to FaceTime him.
The clue is in thank you for taking my call. Bible Man has been ghosting her since they broke up. And this is the first time he's finally picked up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's drama happening back here.
Reno's
behind
got
the
a
scenes.
cannon too, y'all. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's a war of the worlds
like it.
here. All right. So, yeah, but she's calling about Michael's dark moods and falling grades. And she's like, you know, if we're not careful, he will miss the science fair.
High stakes.
Those are the stakes of the... Yes, that is going to be the stakes of the whole fucking video. But first, Coates has to do a few japes about the word kumquat.
Oh my God. First of all, it's word for word stolen from the Sunshine Boys, which I'm sure the writers who made this episode don't remember, but it's like literally the pickle is funny, kumquat is funny lines from The Sunshine Boys by Neil Simon. So
Oh, wow.
weird for me to be like, hey, you stole that from a Jew. I don't know how I feel about it. But second of all, it's all children's Christian comedy just has to grind everything to a halt and be like, here's the thing.
Funny.
Knock, knock.
Yeah. Right. So, by the way, I learned in this moment because he goes, "Where does a silly word like that come from?" I learned it's Cantonese for little orange. Apparently, that's
Ooh, I like that.
I hate when the meaning is just something that makes sense. I like it when it means like the palm of God, and you've got to be like, ooh, right?
But no, little orange. That could be wrong. I think that was like an AI summary I looked at. I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, it's right. I was cheating.
You lie to our friends when they arrive. Lie to our friends here on the show.
I was going to say that at a party. I would have been so embarrassed.
Right? Yeah.
Reno could have died for no reasons.
So, okay.
In North Carolina, they murder you if you give fun facts that are incorrect.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
I saw they voted there.
They make you the governor.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, okay. So, but Bible Man at this point points out that he actually has a mobile version of Eunice now, which they're going to call a satellite because of my best worst. They don't give a fuck what that word means.
They sure don't.
They do
You guys
not.
were all hoping for a flubber projection scene, right? Where she turns herself into a beautiful woman and tries to jerk off Bible Man.
That would have
was
made a lot
hoping
more
for that,
sense.
yeah.
Okay, I just want to say that everyone who has seen the Robin Williams hit movie Flubber absolutely got that joke and fucking loved it. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there.
I will bravely say yes.
Thank you.
But instead,
No.
we got this weird ball that gave me I can't see a thing in this helmet Star Wars flashback.
Yeah.
That little laser that shot Luke. Yeah.
Yep.
Again, Star Wars theft strong in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knew what was popular in the 80s.
Yeah. Like so many Christians creating things in the early 2000s. They
Yes.
knew what was popular in the 80s.
Yep.
So, okay. Now, apparently, though, the bad guy also has a secret camera in the Bible cave. Right? Because
Yeah.
back when he's also watching this conversation between Bible Man and Coates. Now, he's like, apparently at this point, he's like, just what I was waiting for to enact my master plan. And we're like, what? He's like, this part of the video, I guess. Right? Because he acts like, Eunice being deployed as a drone is going to come into play later, and it doesn't. Right?
Right.
But this is the way we first actually get to see our bad guy. Up until now, we've seen him like Dr. Claw, right, from behind or whatever. But now we actually see him. He is the master of misery.
Yes, and this villain reveal did make me slightly more miserable. So hats off to the wardrobe people.
Yeah, actually, no, good point.
Yeah. And they have this weird meta moment here, right? So, for those of you who have been following along with the canon
was
of
funny.
my
You got the
genius,
same one
first of
twice
all,
in a row.
Thank you. I assume many of you are archivists from the future, sort of under F for funniest person that ever existed. And I hope it's nice there in the future. But
It's not.
also, you will remember it is. It's not.
Hey, let's not be assholes
They're
about
mostly
this, right?
fighting over water
Yeah.
at this point.
Right.
But the point is you're studying my humor, which means that you're aware that this guy was the fucking guy of fear in the last episode.
Yes.
And so they need to apologize for that. They need to be like, why is this actor a different demon now? And so they do a whole like, oh, I got my job changed. But they do it too long, right? They have to go into like the corporate chain of hell and be like, well, I was actually moved laterally, even though it came with a pay decrease. But I was told that I'm no longer reporting to Helen, and I don't like her. So,
Yeah,
sorry. Anyways, that's why I'm the same actor playing a different character.
That was much easier than he's my twin brother.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's wearing a headset mic, and he's wearing like a fake baldness helmet over his real baldness.
Yeah, very strange choice.
No idea.
It's a hat on a hat.
Yep, yeah, right. So then his sidekick comes in to relieve the comedy, right? So normally comic relief is there to be funny. He's there so that funny can take a smoke break, right?
Yes, truly. I think they just thought skateboarder voice would do a lot more carrying than it
Yeah.
does, because he's like,
Yeah.
you're a villain, and they pause while they're like, let's let the kids stop laughing at home.
Right.
They're probably really losing it because you talk like the state of California.
Yeah, there was so many wait for laughter pauses in this. It would have been 28 minutes if you'd taken all that out.
Also, so they also at one point during this little meta bit, they try to make a William Shatner joke, and I wrote in my notes, I don't know if this qualifies as a joke. What is the threshold? What is a quanta of humor? This show has me asking, what's the smallest possible unit of humor that can elevate something to jokehood?
Exactly, yeah.
That's where we're at right now.
In a dualist state where a thing can both be a joke and not at the same time. And our
It was-
observation of it has killed the cat.
Yes.
Schrodinger's joke.
Yeah!
But we learned that this guy, the Master of Misery, has his most diabolical invention yet. He has an anti-joy transmitifier.
I have one of those. It's called my iPhone.
Yeah.
So you
Twitter.
just laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in order to get it like worldwide, he needs to connect it to Bible Man's quote unlimited power grid end quote.
I feel like if Bible Man has an unlimited power grid, he has a lot of socioeconomic obligations he's not fulfilling.
Also, the Master of Misery does not know how depression works. You don't take over the world when you're depressed. You hardly get a shower.
Yeah, right?
When you're depressed. Like,
Yeah.
this
Right?
is not going to work.
His grand depression plans? No, yeah.
Oh man, now that's what we need. We need a depression character who has the actual plans of depression. You will watch the Avengers ending a bunch of times in a row.
And eat potato chips.
Yes,
I was gonna say, I will buy stock in Lay's potato chips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
DoorDash, my great secret weapon.
All right, well, I guess now that we've established our villain, we can take ourselves another break, but we'll be back in a minute with incredible force of joy.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
So you see, Timmy, when Jesus is in your heart, you can never feel sad.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Bible Man?
Who are you?
Eli Bosnick, podcaster, big fan.
I was just giving this young man some tips on fighting depression.
No, you were not. You're actually kind of killing him, statistically speaking.
He was?
Yeah, no, he was. But you know what does help with depression? Therapy.
It does?
Sure does. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/awesome to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/awful.
Gee, thanks. Get out of here, Bible Man.
Fine, but don't come crying to me when Big Pharma has its hooks in you.
Oh man, I hate you so much.
What?
I said I respectfully disagree. Because it's an ad.
So, you're not coming to the Jamboree at all?
I'm sorry, Billy. I just don't feel like it.
Never fear, the Strider is here.
Strider, who are you?
Well, first, I'm a very clever pun on SSRI.
No, we got
Strider.
it, man.
Yeah, but I'm also here to scare those blues away.
Hooray!
Quick, put this in your mouth.
A roll of toilet paper?
Yes.
That's dry.
Yep. But don't you feel better?
Okay, honestly, yes, I do feel better.
You're welcome.
All right, Timmy, let's get to the party.
Sure thing. Maybe I'll get lucky with Jessica tonight.
Not so fast, kid.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And we're back for more of this shit, and we're going to rejoin the action a couple of days later with Eunice giving Bible Man an update on Michael's science project is the plot.
Really wanted the computer to break character here and be like, we must have more important things to do.
And what with our
Is
unlimited...
there still child rape?
Yeah, right. So Bible Man's like, it looks like we're going to have to run a covert biological scan. And I'm like, okay, first of all, that sounds like when you use a black light to check for jizz stains. But secondly, there's no way I can interpret that where it's not terrifying.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of invasion of privacy happening here.
Yeah. So he sends out the secret camera drone, which they keep calling a satellite, to
What's up, GMO Burn?
spy on
You don't know how to do
children
implants?
at their school.
They're pretty easy, man. You can go to Xanaris, and then there's the wheat field right there. There's an impling that'll show you where there's a better entrance. And then you can usually, especially if you're in leagues right now, you can spawn camp eclectics. Makes them super easy. Are you on leagues right now? GMO? I can give you a brief little rundown. If you're still here, shout out GMO. Shout out if you're still here. I'll give you a little rundown on how to do implings.
Yeah.
Sorry, do covert biological scans on children at this.
And just no one notices because none of these children look up and see a giant floating volleyball, I guess.
Yeah, we're apparently playing by the Spider-Man rules where no one bothers to look up,
Right,
despite
yes,
the fact that it should be the one thing you do.
Where's the spider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's glowing green, and it makes noise and shit. Yeah. So
It talks.
well, right.
It talks, and no one thinks that's weird. There's just a floating, discombobulated voice
Right,
happening.
right. They're like, well, it's above me, so I must not notice it. Yeah. So, but then she does the biological scan, and then Bible Man turns to Coates, and he's like, well, so this, I guess, lunch? And they're like, yeah, we will, in the movie, take a lunch break.
I thought we would just get to see them sitting there eating in silence. This makes great
They never
sandwiches.
give you enough napkins at this place. I don't
You
understand.
ever been to Jersey Mike's? Jersey Mike's is really good. Not enough
They give you a lot more napkins there. You can just really just grab a bunch of your
I
own.
want Jersey Mike's now.
Yeah,
Oh,
right?
always. You always want Jersey Mike's. And best part about Jersey Mike's, the owner of Jersey Mike's fucked a shark.
What?
Yep. Take that home. Enjoy it, everybody.
You are trying to divert me, damn it. I'm going to stay
First
on...
of all, Noah, there are 4 seconds
I'm
left in
Googling
this
this right
movie.
now. We're going to have to pause so
Yeah.
I can Google.
Do it in incognito mode.
Safe search off, baby. So while Cecilia's Googling the shark fucking...
We've lost her for the rest
Yeah,
of the show.
right. So, but apparently that lunch break is what the Master of Misery was waiting for to trigger his evil plan to tunnel into the Bible cave.
Are we not going to mention what they're getting to eat?
Oh, yes, they're having the Scooby-Doo rules, they're going to have a liver and anchovy pizza.
Yeah.
Because gross.
Coates
Yeah.
is gross. Yeah.
And then Bible Man says that Coates needs therapy, and the belief in therapy gives me more hope than is probably warranted at
Yeah,
this point
for
in
sure.
time.
Right. It was a simpler time back then when Christians could have talked about therapy without getting embarrassed, you know?
I didn't think therapy existed in this world, like
Right.
in this timeline. So, yeah, maybe. Fingers crossed.
It is hard to reconcile a world with both therapy and Bible Man. Yeah.
No, you feel like one precludes the other.
All right, so we cut to, they've broken in. We have Eunice screaming about an intruder alert, but Miles and Coates are out having their liver and anchovy pizza, so they don't hear her. So, no idea what good the fucking intruder alert's doing.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I say something? Let me tread lightly for a moment.
Uh-oh.
There was a real violation of the only woman-voiced character theme to this episode that I did not care for.
Yeah,
Twice!
it was way worse the
Twice.
second time, but yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't occur to me till the second time how bad it was, but yeah.
To use the parlance of our guest this week, I got a real killing joke vibe, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay?
Oh, I do.
I felt like Eunice was being used as a kind of a plot device to motivate the men in her life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah?
Well, and it also doesn't help that ultimately what Eunice is saying is, please take your hands out of me, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because she's the robot and he's getting into the computer to hook his anti-joy gun up, right?
Yeah. When Eunice was hiding the keys earlier, she told Coates that it would help him become more observational. They obviously do need this help.
Right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Because they walk right by the bad guys as they're leaving, and no one bats an eye. And I just,
Right.
it was a little bit, they're not detectives.
It's certainly not. And they don't even, like, cover back up the tunnel they dug into the Bible.
Yeah. Also, what's the point in having an intruder alert if the people not there don't get it?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
But they do the second time.
That's
second-
the thing
yes.
that makes it even more confusing.
Yeah,
Yes, thank
yeah.
you.
Well, and even worse, when Miles and Coates get back from lunch, Eunice isn't like, hey, guess what happened while you were gone?
No.
She doesn't tell them.
No, they walk in and there's shovels leaned up against the wall. Trust us, digging happened. You don't see it. You see the shovels.
They
And-
dug fast.
Yeah,
During the lunch break, yeah.
Yeah.
and she feels no need to be like, "Oh, while you were gone, I was violated in this way by a gun." So
Yeah.
oh.
Right. No, so and look, this is very easy to solve from a storytelling perspective because we sent Eunice out as a robot. You could say her consciousness was in the little
Right, she wasn't there when
right,
they
the
did
satellite
the
thing.
thing. Yeah.
But the fact that you have her going intruder alert, you can't do that.
All right, here we go,
that
baby.
fucks up that excuse.
25 poppers.
You know, she
Here we go. 25 poppers. Here we go. Come on, baby. I will freaking green log this shit probably. Oh my goodness, we're still getting boater colors. Okay. Come on, baby. Come on, you know what I want. Double unicorn head. What the heck? Yes! Fuck yes! Oh my god. I did it. Equip some ranger boots. Oh, I'm so glad I equipped him before I freaking made him Pegasian. What an epic grind. Oh, nothing for all three boots, huh? I feel kind of gypped. Man, I'm so glad I finally got my Rangers, bro. Holy shit. That was like the last thing holding me back from like just fucking Toa up like hardcore. Well, I'm gonna do it now. Toa better watch the fuck out. I got my Rangers, I got my Ranger boots. Feeling like a gangster, feeling like a gangster in the groove. What else can we get? Can we green log this bitch? Holy sandals again, master clue. Like nothing new, nothing new. Dupe on those pant legs. Let's go, dancing and party. Spike manacles. Well, I got pretty close to green logging the mediums. Wizard boots and a couple more just kind of random things. Maybe I'll go for green log medium if I have extra time at the end. Oh, I freaked out. I was like, oh, did I get something good already? Sarcophagus worth it, you think? I heard his big point, big strength, but that's not that big. You can get that hidden one freaking mob. One time. Yay, little point. Tasks. We need a lot of points. 3,500. I think I'll solo some Toho. Some decent experience, I guess. I thought I got a mummy pet for a second. You won't give me that Kopash you got? Oh, Jesus. 10,000 experience? Fuck. Okay, maybe everything's kind of worth it.
I
So
don't want to ruin the Super Bowl.
yeah,
I didn't write Bible Man, okay?
no, you didn't. You're just pointing it out. No,
My
you're right.
Eunice would have a gun. My Eunice would do a full I spit on your grave.
Yep.
For the record.
Well, she gets revenge later.
Exactly.
She does murder
She
this
does
guy
do a
with.
full I spit on your grave.
Yeah, actually, yeah, she does. Spoilers.
Is this where the Master of Misery has his one-off laugh track line where he looks at the camera?
Yes, right.
You can't. Are you allowed to do that? To have a laugh track for just one line?
What?
Well, I think that the writers or directors of this film went through the same existential fugue state that No Illusions did, and they were like, you know what? I'm not sure what's a joke, but I know if we put a laugh track in there, they have to admit that at
Right.
least we tried to make a joke.
Well, if that was the idea, they needed more.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right, because here's the joke, right? Because so Ludacris is playing Pong on the Bible computer when they hear Bible Man coming, and they have to leave, and he's like, hey, what should we do? And the Master of Misery turns to the fourth wall, and he goes, it's like talking to foam. And then there's just some crickets are going like, is that our cue? And then they're like, no, laugh track.
No, there's laughter somewhere.
Foam. Get it? Boom. But then they leave, and again, like there's just a tunnel now, like a hole in the fucking Bible cave that Bible Man and Coach will never see.
Yep.
And then the title cards pop up, and they're like Bible Man's cave, and we're like, that's where we were. And then the time comes up, and it says 1:42 p.m. and I'm like, well, they just got back from lunch. Well, that's when it was. We haven't gone anywhere. Why? What are you doing here, titles?
By the way, just a side note, because I did look it up, it's the dude who owns Jimmy John's, not...
It was the guy who owned Jimmy John. You know what?
Yeah.
That was bothering me. But sometimes, can I tell you, Cecilia, step into my office. Sometimes I like to say things that aren't true on our show because it turns it into an ARG. Because if our listeners in the Patreon feed, they're just sort of trying to solve the little riddles, much like Reno's favorite character.
Oh, look at you bringing it back.
I'm sort of a riddler of my own, but it's a riddle based on the things that came out of my mouth.
A bit of a,
There's a term
of a
for that. We
fibbler.
call it fibbler. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just lying.
Wow.
So
You got beat by Bible Man.
Part of my yeah, exactly. Part of my podcasting canon, you mean?
yeah. So okay. So now we're back at the Bible cave, or still at the Bible cave, and they're noticing a few problems with Michael's bioscans. There's a lot of neural interference and some quote. His heart is experiencing some quote electromotivational flux.
Who wanted all this science babble in the middle of the Bible Man show? Like, who was looking at the script for this episode of the Bible Man show and was like, I just feel like we need to really dig into the mythos more of the dastard of depression. I'm just not buying it, you know?
I mean, you usually use this kind of like tech speak to shore up like weak parts in your
Yes.
plot.
Yeah.
But it's all weak spot. Like there's there's not enough tech speak in the world to cover this all up.
But and not only that, the end result is that they look at all of this, the neural interference and the electromotivational flux, and they go, "Whoa, this kid is depressed." Miss Kendall fucking told you that.
A thing they could have learned from the phone call with the person they had.
Yes. Yeah, don't need fucking bioscans. They say at this point that his heartbeat is too regular.
What?
That's not a thing, guys. That's not a thing. You're
What does that mean?
most more regular the better.
They were just trying to comfort you, Noah. They were like, yeah.
That's really the equivalent, like that's the medical equivalent of saying it's quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Yeah. Right. Yes. So, and then quite suddenly there's an alarm, and Eunice says neural net compromised, and the gauge on the screen says lethal. We don't know what any of that means and never will, but the camera
Nope.
goes shaky, so that means it's action time.
The acting was just so bad at this part that it's like the disbelief was already not working, but like it was so stark.
Yeah.
Because the camera's shaky and they're doing like the most, and it's just so flat.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen such bad acting.
Well, Coates says at this point, because we don't know what any of this means, Coates goes, "It's time for Bible Man." And so Bible Man runs over.
The VHS starts over. Do you hate those Jews in Hollywood? No!
So, so Miles runs over to the Bible Man outfit, and we get that full armor of God sequence that we love so much.
Again!
If Iron Man was religious.
Yes.
We get the full armor sequence versus the kink armor sequence, which is just the cape and the cowl.
Oh, I want that one. Yeah. He goes, full armor sequence, execute now. And we get this weird things where, like, for each of the 5 items, Coates will say the name of the item, and then the fucking voiceover guy from every toy commercial in the 90s would repeat it, right? Coates would go, "Waste belt of truth," and the guy would go, "Waste belt of truth."
So he gets through doing them, and then they get to Sword of the Spirit, where Coates is supposed to say it and have it repeated, and Bible Man's just like, and we didn't pay for this, but there's also a Sword of the Spirit.
Yes.
Also, who puts on their belt first? I just feel like that should be pointed out. Because that is the first thing that goes on, and
It is.
that's not how clothes work.
Well, also, like, so I love the visual here, right? Because it's the belt, and then there's a breastplate, and a shield, and a sword, and a helmet. So his dick is out. His dick is just flopping
Straight
around,
up Donald
right?
ducking it. Yeah, no.
Bible Man, indeed. Now that he's fully attired, I figured out that he is dressed very close to Shaquille O'Neal in the 1997 hit Steel.
Yeah, there's some real Steel vibes
When we say
here,
hit,
Yeah, if you spray painted him purple.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's a work of art, honestly.
We did that one time for a secular bonus episode, and the part of that movie where the paraplegic girl has to drag herself up, and they're all just going, "No, don't help her. She needs to do this on her own." It's one of my favorite moments in the history of fucking cinema.
Yeah. And funnily enough, Trump just appointed that scene as the head
No.
of disability services.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the person, the scene.
Yeah,
It's just
no, the
he's
scene
just going to
itself,
play
yeah.
that whenever people need help.
Right, right. So, okay, but then, so Bible Man now has his Bible Man outfit on, so he jumps on the Bible bike, and he heads to Stedman Junior High.
Bible bike.
So we cut to the school where the baddies are sneaking around this. They're like expositing about their nefarious plan to fucking ruin Michael's science fair motivation.
Yep.
Is what they're after. We see Miss Kendall trying to cheer Michael up, but she's no match for the master of misery's sadness, Ray. Right?
Yeah.
But you know who is? Motherfucking Bible Man.
Bible Man!
Hiding under the stairs.
Which can I say I'm grateful that the villains were here, because when they said it's time for Bible Man, I was like, what is he gonna do to help Michael? Punch him until he feels better? I mean, look,
Yeah.
luckily there's someone here for him to fist fight. Otherwise, he would have just showed up and been like, I'm a guy who touched a Bible. My dick is out. I don't know what to tell you.
And I'm in a school.
Did you hear about the CEO of Jimmy John's? There's a photo. You can find it pretty easily.
Yeah, yeah. Why is Michael being in the science fair so important?
Thank
they
you.
never establish, like, does he invent something special in
Well,
the
he's
future?
going to represent the young Earth worldview, a much needed
Oh, yeah, so
perspective
that's-
in the science area.
Everybody they can get, yeah. So now it's time for one of the staples of Bible Man shows. This is the part where Bible Man runs around lightsaber fighting somebody while quoting Bible verses.
So lightsabers aren't copyrighted at all. Like, just anyone
Apparently
can have
not.
one and use them. Okay,
Clearly, you could just get away with that shit.
good to know.
And also, like, so I want to point out, so we've watched, I think, like 3 other episodes of Bible Man before. He's reusing the same goddamn Bible verses.
He sure is.
Romans
He sure
12:21.
is.
We've seen him do that one. I think maybe more than once before.
Oh, yeah.
See, this is what happens when you don't read the Bible, you just touch it.
Yeah.
That's not what happened
Right,
when he
right.
became Bible Man. He just touched the book. He did not read the book.
He knows like these 5 and like 3 of the baguette verses, and that's it.
So they're locked in battle, and Ludacris, the sidekick, is just like, "Hey, I have the anti-joy gun. Do you want me to shoot him in the back?" And he's like, "Yes, shoot him in the back."
Yes, that's why you're here, man.
Right. But Bible Man somehow doesn't, like, dodge or anything. He just gets shot. They're talking about, like, shoot him in the back in 3, 2, got him. You know, whatever.
It would have cost too much to try to actually figure out where the ray was going.
Oh, sure.
It was easier to just have him get shot.
Right, clearly.
Well, they could have just replayed his cartwheeling scene and then just assumed he got out of the way.
There
Yeah.
you go.
And this is the scene where Bible Man is going to offer us his first real solution to depression, which is James, where James says, think of bad things as good things. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Right. So, yeah, he shoots the laser at him, and he goes, I love Jesus too much to be affected by your depression, Ray. Depression is something that only happens to people who aren't Christian enough. And we're all like, oh, God. Is
Yep.
that the message? Yes. That's the fucking message.
Because you know what was sad about Bible Man for me up to this point? It didn't have a body count.
Right?
It didn't have a body count.
Sure.
These assholes jumping around in rubber suits didn't have a demonstrable murdery vibe.
Yeah.
And don't worry if you didn't catch it. They're going to double, triple, quadruple down on this fact.
Yes.
I'm just going to say, Ludacris as a person deserves better than the representation he's given in this movie.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Yes. And he deserved to be played by Ludacris.
I
I'll throw that
agree
out
with
there.
that completely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I would love just Ludacris taking a piss on this movie the entire fucking time.
One of the many things that the Fast and the Furious franchise snatched from betwixt our hands is Ludacris's appearance in this film.
I like that the only reason Ludacris isn't in this movie is because there was a schedule conflict. with
That's
one of
it.
the
That was
Fast
it.
and
That was
Furious
all it
movies.
was. He was shooting the scenes in Fast and the Furious 10 where they go to space, and he could not make the
Couldn't do it.
rigorous 2-day shooting schedule of Bible Man. Incredible Prince of Joy.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay, so we cut back to the Master of Misery's hideout. He's just been defeated by Bible Man's incredible force of joy. It's not as sexy as I just made it sound, but this is where like he and Ludacris are kind of licking their wounds and realizing they need to amp up their sadness gun.
They're just doing bits while they wait for the scene to start. It's like, what if I said hi and you said, oh, thank God. Okay, it's time to do our lines. Here we go.
Yeah, there's the echoes, the bit with the where he's yelling echoes in there.
Yeah, they did a never-ending story reference, which, hats off for that.
Well, that was the high point
Yeah.
of the film, really, wasn't it? Like
Yes.
when he
The high
is-
point of all of these episodes are when they reference better media, right?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, we stole a lightsaber and we stole dropping down like Batman.
No, that's fair.
They just start quoting Monty Python movies like 8th grade me.
It's only a flesh wound.
Get me into a newt. Yeah.
So okay, so the Master of Misery, he's like toying with his gun, and Ludacris is like, but what if Bible Man's right? What if God is too powerful? And that
Know your audience, Luda.
Yes. Well, yeah, exactly right, because what that apparently does is cue the Master of Misery to start singing a goddamn musical number.
Hell yeah.
And you know what? He's a better singer than an actor.
Yes.
Not that that says much.
No,
But it is true.
no, but he's not bad. He's actually he's way better than I was expecting when he started singing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and this is another one of those things like the opening credit sequence where like I always forget that there are musical numbers in this fucking show. So
Always. There are things that are always going to be true. One, we will always find the armor of God funnier than we did the last time. Two, they sing and we will not remember that they
yes,
sing.
right. So okay, and I'm not gonna dwell on all the fucking rhymes, but his opening rhyme in this goddamn song was said with created. That was the opening bid when it came to rhymes. It doesn't get better.
I wrote in my notes at this point, the rhymes here are designed to drive no illusions into a personal fugue state.
Right? Yep. Fair.
This was an amazing. I mean, this 3-minute song only took 24 minutes according to my internal clock.
Yes.
And but the best part was when the ladies from the Simply Irresistible music video came in.
Yeah!
Oh,
The depression backup dancer.
Yes. Yes.
so good.
Backup dancers.
Well, yeah, because he's singing about how happiness is bullshit, and I'm like, all right, well, the rhymes suck, but I like the message, right?
Yeah.
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 But again, they couldn't think of any actual bad things because that would bring up the problem of evil.
See, I think an 8-year-old with a rattle speaks of other issues, though. There were probably some really sad things that they were hinting at, but not quite saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he's got the chorus of the song says, "Nothing makes me happy, nothing makes me shine, and nothing makes me see the fun or leave my troubles behind." That's what we're bopping out to here.
Yeah.
Quality of rhymemanship we're working with, everybody.
Oh, that's the best they ever do, though. That's like better than the rest of the Lions wish they could be as good as Shine and Behind.
And this sent me into a bit of a crisis because I assumed none of these people were human until this point, and then I was like, oh, this was just a normal kid who had a really bad day one day and has been in a depression spiral ever since. And if I know Bible Man, he's gonna get murdered.
He's gonna murder him for it.
Right,
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
you're absolutely right, because like that, there is kind of a like. It's really hard to do a silly, funny song where the message is, I wallow in depression all the time and am gray and melancholic, right? And they don't
Agree to disagree, no illusions.
They do, well, it's tough. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm saying they can't do it, right? So at the end, you're just like, okay, so this guy just needs a fucking hug, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We watched the Master of Depression go through ECT, and he's like, wow, that really fucking helps.
All right, well, this video just songed at us, and I believe we're entitled to compensation. So I'm going to call an 800 number real quick. But first, let me give Act 3 the hard sell. Will Michael continue to feel a little meh? Will the science project, which he will complete despite the evil depression ray, not really be all that it could be? Will Bible Man fucking murder the Master of Misery in cold blood? Find out the answers to these questions and more when we return for the aw shucks conclusion of Bible Man, the incredible force of joy. I'm telling you, Coates, the Master of Misery is around here somewhere. We've got to find him.
You said it, Bible Man.
Excuse me, young man. What's this exhibit on?
Oh, it's on fossils.
Nice try.
Bible Man, you killed that kid.
Not at all, Coates. That's a minion of misery spreading the devil's lies.
Hey, Bible Man, come check out my poster on evolution.
You wish, anti-fish.
Another minion?
100%, Coates. Hey, kid,
Yeah?
what's your exhibit on?
It's about how bats are birds?
Bats are mammals, kid. Everybody knows.
Bible.
I mean, good job, kid.
Thanks!
And we're back for still more of this shit, and now fully recovered from the music number, or at least as fully recovered as we will ever be, we're going to dive back into the Bible cave with Eunice asking Bible Man about his experiences with the sadness ray. Right? He explains that the wave drew the joy from his very soul.
Yeah.
Oof.
This was the first time it occurred to me to ask, and maybe in a previous episode I've asked also, but like, why is the Bible cave, you guys think, covered in a thick layer of smoke on the floor at all time?
Great question. I assume it's from those Catholic swinging bobbers.
Ooh.
Right? He's just got them going.
like the sensors. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly.
All right. I feel like these guys are going to wind up with mesothelioma from working in this environment all the fucking time.
But for some reason, they get a religious exemption to the lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
You know, I just realized the ray drew the joy from his very soul. It's like a Dementor attack.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Harry Potter. They're going to be so mad that they invoked Harry Potter.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but then, Bible Man and Coach, they realize there must be a joy taker away array that's working against Michael. But how would he find a way to boost his signal enough?
And again, I cannot emphasize enough, I do not know why they decided to dive into the science of the depressorator ray. Right? They were like, I'm telling you, man, look, what's the best part of Star Wars? The midichlorians. Exactly. We need to get into the hard science elements of the depressorator ray.
Yes. Right, but they realize, well, so like credit where credit's due, Eunice realizes that he's waiting to really spring his depressorator ray on everybody until everybody's gathered together for the science fair.
Thank goodness for Eunice, otherwise they'd still be Superman posing while the Master of Misery wins.
Right?
Yeah.
She's done all the fucking work here.
Yeah, this made a great point. I want all the Christian kids to notice that nothing good can come from science.
Yes.
And now we are creating several hundred emo kids all at one time.
Oh, God.
And now I know how high the stakes are.
Right, now it's real.
Yeah.
Right, shit just got real. Wow.
Actually, that's episode 11, the Divorcerator. Every time you divorce a set of parents, you create an emo kid.
So, but okay. So I have a question about. I know this is such a stupid thing to say, but I have a question about the Master of Misery's plan, right? Because if his goal was to lure everyone to the science fair, why would he start off by making Michael too depressed to go to the science fair?
Well, Noah, I don't want to spoil the end of the episode, but that might not actually be his plan.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to the reveal that you've got for me. So okay, so
Here's hoping I remember what the fuck I just said.
so we cut to the science fair. Bible Man and Coates show up in full costume.
Right. The computer ball has to stay hidden, but Bible
Yeah.
Man and Frenchman, I call him French Foreign Legion again.
Oh,
instead of
okay, yeah,
Coates.
no.
Yeah, Coates can just walk around the premises as they are.
I feel like, look, if I'm sending my kid to a school that doesn't step Bible Man at the fucking door, I'm worried about the safety of my child.
You're
right?
living in Trump's America
Yeah,
now,
well,
Noah.
that's
You
true.
gotta prepare Bible Man to be at the science fair.
No, you're right.
You're lucky Bible Man isn't the superintendent of Oklahoma.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, can I say something from my heart? Because I made a joke. I would rather have
No,
Bible
I
Man.
was sitting here saying the same thing. I was like, at least Bible Man has principles, though, right?
Yeah, he doesn't like the fibbler or whatever that
Right.
Jewish woman was.
He does believe in therapy enough to suggest it.
Yeah, exactly. At least
He'd be a
suggest.
better health director than Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Or RFK Jr., yeah.
Speaking of supervillains,
So, right. So, yeah, so they get into the science fair. They're like, we need to stay close to Michael. And I'm like, why? And he's like, I just like the way his hair smells. What?
Michael, your dads are here.
Yeah. So they come over and they introduce themselves to Michael, and I feel so sorry for this fucking poor actor because he is simultaneously being asked to be really excited to meet Bible Man, which is already a tall order to fill as an actor, but also he has to remain depressed
Yeah.
because that's his whole thing. So this poor fucking guy is trying to embody both of these contradictory traits simultaneously, and he gives it his all. He doesn't pull it off because it's literally impossible, definitionally impossible, but he sure as hell tries. So
yeah. I mean, I got the vibe from this conversation that even Michael thought Bible Man could be using his time better. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
you're here about I did do a science project. It's just I was just depressed. Like what?
And he tells Bible Man that he said, and Bible Man's answer is, being happy isn't about what goes right, it's about how we handle when it goes wrong. And again, even though that's supposed to be a truism platitude, that is not what being happy is
No.
about. That's about handling unhappiness.
Yes.
But I will admit, there is a great moment in the scene that I absolutely love where he goes, well, everyone else's science project is better than mine. And Bible Man and Coates are like, well, as long as you tried your hardest. And I don't know if you all don't speak parent, but that is code for the thing you just said is true.
Yes. Well, but so, and then that's the worst part is that they go, well, did you try your best? And we're like, no, because he was depressed. The whole plot of this show is that he really didn't put his all into that. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, there you go then.
There you go. It's-
like I used baby powder instead of baking soda, and this volcano ain't doing shit.
So yeah, but he's like, well, let me just proselytize to you about Jesus a little bit. And he's like, oh wow, isn't this a public school? And he's like, what? But then we cut back. We get the really uncomfortable scene with the Master of Misery going elbow deep in Eunice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
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 This is the one where she's literally saying, get your hands out of me.
And can I say, this also pays off the thing that I said before that I wasn't sure I was going to remember, because it turns out he wasn't trying to lure everyone to the science fair. He was trying to pretend he was luring everyone to the science fair so that Bible Man would go to the science fair so he could go back into the lab and do the thing that he did before, but again and more.
I am going to have to give him credit. This is better thought out than have read, Reno.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, no,
yeah,
it's
like the Joker's plan in fucking Dark Knight.
still a better twist than Identity Crisis.
So I think you're actually making it smarter than it is, because I think his plan was to to do this so that he could use his Bible ray at the science fair. I think they actually were trying to have their cake and eat it too there. But I also have this important question. So at this point, first of all, Eunice puts out an alert, an intruder alert, and Coates gets it this time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Coates comes up to Bible Man, who didn't get it apparently, and he says, there's a code blue intruder alert. Why would that be a code blue?
Why do you have a code for someone's elbow deep in Eunice?
Well,
how often are villains ending up elbow deep in Eunice that you have a color-coded system?
And how is that only rise to the level of a blue? What happens at red? Jesus fucking Christ, guys.
Well, when it's code red, they're not elbow deep in Eunice.
Oh my God.
That's when
different body parts.
Yeah.
Same problem.
Oh dear. They learn at this point that the lab is where he's been transmitting his sadness ray from the whole time. So Bible Man and Coates have to split up. He's like, you stay at the science fair, I'll go back to the lab. And Coates is like, okay, but we just learned nothing is happening at the science fair. Why am I... Hold on a second.
This episode is brought to you by the concept of security cameras.
Right? Or locks on the doors?
Yeah.
Or passwords?
Maybe investigating the shovels that are just left hanging out
Right,
that you
from
didn't
the
bring in
tunnel.
yourself.
AGT sponsored this episode of Bible Man.
Right. But Bible Man jumps back on the Bible bike and heads back to the Bible cave.
Which I am now 100% sure is just Batgirl's bike from the 60s Batman TV show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
So back at the cave, Eunice is protesting more. She's yelling about an unauthorized intruder alert, which suggests the existence of an authorized intruder, which is weird. But just then, just at the rapiest moment in this entire thing, Bible Man shows up for a second lightsaber battle.
Oh yeah, we had 3 days of lightsaber choreography practice. Everybody, let's do this thing.
Fuck yeah! So this is where they blow their pyrotechnic budget.
Mm-hmm.
There is a small explosion at this point.
Yeah.
I point that out because they're going to be really proud of that later on.
Oh, they're so proud of it. Yeah, that's the explosion that kills the Doctor of Depression, or is that the lightning storm?
No, that's just an explosion. But then he releases the satellite that they had earlier, the drone, and explains that you can never steal the joy from a true Christian. And Eunice starts undoing all of his stuff that he's done to the computer, like where her drone starts reprogramming it.
So she could have fixed herself if someone had just asked her to.
Yeah, that was what she was missing.
This is really advanced tech for the 90s. I'm surprised. The Christians now would be worried about 5G.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no. They'd have Eunice in a Faraday cage.
Right?
But Eunice explains that a reverse overload is imminent. So an underload, I don't know what the fuck that is. But that is when the lightning bolt leaps out of... They say to the Master Mystery, they're like, you better get out of here, reversal underload or whatever. Very important. And he's like, I don't know what that means. And then a lightning bolt explodes him to death.
So again, we have now killed 2 sentient humans
straight to hell
in this episode so far.
Yes.
Yeah. Ludacris is lucky to have gotten out with his skin.
Honestly, right.
I'm glad Eunice got revenge for the creep touching her, though. That part wasn't...
Yeah. A full I spit on your grave.
No, he deserved to explode like the potato he exploded like. Yeah, no, it was good. The other guy, we never saw what he did, so if he was a creep too, that's fine. We're good.
Yeah.
So then, now having taken care of the Master of Misery, Bible Man hurries back to the science fair where everyone is much happier now.
Yeah.
They're all feeling better, including Michael.
Yeah.
How did he do at the science fair? They never
We don't get that
established.
answer, no, yeah.
I need to know. It distracted me for the rest of this episode. Like, did he win? Did he get last place?
We don't know, yeah.
What happened?
Right.
I don't think Bible Man was ready to commit that any of their people would win a fine science fair. I think they knew they were setting themselves up for trouble.
Yeah. Right. But Michael turns to Bible Man. He's like, hey, how do I keep the joy when things go wrong in my life? And Bible Man says, Jesus.
Right, yeah.
Just a quick question. What went so wrong in this kid's life? Something about a party? Like,
his dad killed himself and he found the body.
Oh.
Did you not watch the extended cut?
Kind of burying the lead there.
No. So the dad was in same-sex attraction therapy, but it was not going well, and he sort of did a late-night thing with another dad, and then the coach of the baseball team found out because he was at that same bar, and then he shot himself in the garage, and Michael's the one who found him.
You see why people don't know the Eli Cannon. This is why. It just takes these dark fucking turns now.
I say the Eli Cannon into the microphone. I don't control how much of it reaches the people. It's not my job.
Fanfiction.net.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Bible Man fanfiction is an underserved category on fanfiction.
Oh, Bible Man Rule 34. I'm going to Google that like Google Jimmy Jam.
So, okay. So then we cut back over to the Bible cave where Miss...
Yep, it exists.
Yeah, of course it exists. So Miss Kendall has now left them a message about how great everything's going with Michael. She says, Michael's performance has really picked up. And I'm like, well, that sounds like you're talking about ED medication or something, right?
And he's getting along better with his mom, which I didn't know he wasn't
Which
getting
was
along
never
with his mom.
introduced in the first place. Yeah.
But they fixed it, the problem that we didn't know happened.
Is the problem also that he's not going to enough underage parties? I really don't understand what was wrong with Michael.
That's kind of how they established it, yeah.
Yeah.
So... Michael's doing fine, and then they hang up with Miss Kendall, and Coates is like, I'm sure happy you're not grumpy like you were at the beginning of this episode. And Bible Man says, yeah, no, if you ever express any kind of depression, it means that you don't love Jesus enough, so you should really bottle that kind of stuff up, kids.
So is Bible Man having a crisis of faith?
Never.
Not anymore, he's not. God damn it.
Yeah.
You'll never get him to admit what he's feeling. The Bible Man / Heath Enright story.
Oh, God.
It took me in the entire episode to figure out who he was reminding me of, but it's Jared from Subway.
Oh, my God.
His civilian identity is Jared from Subway.
Yes.
Not to bring up yet another Subway, like a sub-mogul tycoon. But
this episode is really sub-packed, isn't it?
It is.
We should check, can I say, based on this information we have, we should check on Jimmy John. We should just bust into his house with a SWAT team every, 3 to 6 months, just be like, sorry, man, it's just statistically you're doing a thing.
Yeah.
We gotta check. Hopefully it's a shark.
That's a best case scenario.
Yeah.
But then there's a transmission alert. Oh, sorry. They get together and count their blessings.
Yeah.
For a bit. Bible Man talks about how he's got a great job and great friends and all that jazz. Which again it's such a bad this episode is about depression. So you can't end it with, but I have a great job and a great house and great family and great friends, because a lot of people don't.
What if you don't have those
exactly.
things?
A lot of people don't. That's often why they're so depressed.
Unless you're some kind of loser, some limp dick's loser. Every woman I have sex with has an orgasm right away.
Someone who doesn't even have a costume or their own vehicle starts crying again.
Yeah, right. I don't have a good job. But then they get a transmission alert. The glutton is escaping from Sector 5. The glutton, and they say, he'll be eating everything in sight. So just in case there wasn't some fucking fat shaming in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
They went a little bit.
Oh, is the same dude gonna wear a fat suit for the next one?
Oh, we'll let you know. We'll call you in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he's like, I'll get back on the Bible bike. And Coates is like, hey, when do I get a signature vehicle? And the show ends. So, you have to imagine, Coates, getting on the bus, right? Why can't Bible Man at least have a...
my Uber's 15 minutes away, and the guy's texting me to cancel. I'm not going to cancel. I'm going to make him cancel.
Let him cancel.
Bible Man!
If he doesn't have his own vehicle, what keys does he keep losing? Is he bringing? Is this like a piecemeal?
They're the ones to his cock cage. Again, you need to read the fan fiction I wrote. I sent it out to you guys before you came on the show.
Send me a link to your fan fiction, and I'll leave you kudos.
Yeah.
Thank you, fellow AO3 survivor, everybody.
Yes, amen.
Pretty skibbity Ohio up in here, isn't it?
So.
Freeze frame, Cecilia. We freeze frame. That's the end of the podcast.
So the episode, so that's the end of the episode. It's not the end of the podcast though yet, because Bible Man has to pop up for a fucking "knowing is half the battle" monologue.
This is the worst Sailor Moon Says segment ever, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like we've determined the exact age difference between you and me, Cecilia, because I went with G.I. Joe and you went Sailor Moon or whatever.
Right.
I think there's a 7-year difference between our ages. That's my guess. So.
I have also made her read G.I. Joe, though.
Oh, right on. Well, good for you. Good for you.
I made you read Sailor Venus.
Also
We're
true.
even.
Oh, I'm intrigued, but we'll save that until we're off the air. So, okay, so Bible Man shows up and directed cameras us a little bit to say, hey, if you're sad, fucking stop it.
Stop it! Cut it out! You're making me angry. You loser.
So, yeah, being depressed will make Jesus sad, and that's on you. But if you're not a depressed asshole, you too can put on the full armor of God.
Just remember, belt first.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
He also ends with a call to, if you're not a Christian yet, accept Jesus in your life, talk to your parents.
Oh, right, of course, it's an altar call, yeah.
Yeah, and I really admire the optimism that someone who wasn't already saved would ever watch this, would ever get that far.
Who the fuck starts with Bible Man? Look, I don't know much about this Christianity thing, but if they have a superhero aimed at children, that's how I like to explore.
Imagine that is your I got saved story. It's like I was into drugs, I was in a motorcycle gang. But one
My
day,
dad killed
I saw
himself
Bible Man.
I saw
in the
Billy
garage, and I
Williams.
got last place at the science fair.
It really spoke to me. No, but here's the thing, though. Here's the really sad admission of this. The goal of Bible Man isn't to proselytize to Christian kids. It's to make the Christian kids like it so they'll play it when their friends come out. The idea is that you'd be watching this with your buddy going like, hey, let's watch Bible Man. And they'd go like, Bible Man, that sounds pretty lame. And you'd say, there's a lot of sword fights in it. And they'd go, ooh, sword fights. And then they would watch this and they'd get to this part and they'd be like, I want to be a Christian like Bible Man. That is literally their goal. Their stated goal with this.
Aw, I wish them all the luck. No, I don't.
Yeah.
No, the opposite
No.
of that.
And perhaps sensing that was a really depressing end for a future podcast, we also get a big, long behind-the-scenes role at this point.
Yeah, a behind-the-scenes role that ends with, and I want to be clear here, I am not exaggerating, ends with, if we didn't laugh, we'd kill each other.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he does say that. So first, though, we get a bunch of shots of, like, we did have real cameras. Look how real our cameras were. These
Real
are,
cameras, mats on the floor, professional production.
Right, yeah. Uh-huh. We get Willie Ames, that's the actor that plays Bible Man. He's talking about the importance of Bible Man. I love this opening line because he goes like, well, the difference between Bible Man and those other caped crusader superheroes is, it's the Jesus stuff. It's all
He's
the
Christian.
A lot of Christian.
So good. I laughed out loud. It made me so happy.
You might not have caught it.
Yeah.
but-
In case all the
They're
scripture
religious.
didn't
They're religious
inform you just a little bit, what does Captain America not do?
Yeah.
Quote Romans at you.
Yeah, right.
That's
exactly,
right, yeah, exactly.
Never does that.
I bet he would.
So yeah, if anybody's gonna
I feel
do
like
that,
they cut it out, yeah.
yeah.
I bet he was racist, too.
He explains.
I bet the first week him and Nick Fury worked in the same building, they had to have a lot of talks.
Oh my God.
because of the things he said.
No, that's the secret of Captain America. He's always woke.
Oh, yeah, he was frozen long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's woke. So, but he tells us the story we just watched, right? Willie Ames does, and then we get a quick interview with the guy who plays Master of Misery, who has nothing. He's just like, well, I'm the main bad guy, man.
I'm in it.
I didn't.
I'm in it.
I read my lines.
Acting's hard.
too. So,
Not everyone's coworker offers them a podcast, Eli. I don't know what to fucking tell you. Sometimes the lights company goes out of business and you can't drive for Uber. I don't know what to say.
also, I want to point out that during this, like, these series of interviews and everything, that scene where Bible Man, like, descends from on high, like, with his Batman cape out, and there's a couple of explosions or whatever, they show us that shot, like, 6 fucking times during this behind-the-scenes reel.
They were so proud of it.
Oh, my God. So, yeah. So they show that as much. They show us Mark Wayne, the guy who played Coates, giving his interview about what Coates is all about, and it's so sad. It's so very, very sad.
Coates is also here.
Yeah.
Although he says something like Coates brings the technology and also a bit of chaos. And when he says chaos, his eyes got so big and creepy.
Yeah.
And I was wondering where he was going to go with that. Like, if he's just going to, like, attack the cameraman or something.
There was a dark fucking moment there. Yes, exactly. And also, by the way, we should point out that Willie Ames, during one of his interviews here, he actually literally calls the swords lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, you know, the thing about the lightsabers is that they represent scripture. I'm like, you can't just say the word lightsabers. Copyright has to mean some fucking thing.
Let's be real. How many people are making it to the behind the scenes portion?
Well, that's yeah. Lucas's
us,
people just
probably.
haven't gotten here yet, is what you're
Right,
saying.
They cut it off way before this part.
No, that's fair.
If they make
That's
it
fair.
past the song,
Yeah, right. No, they're on your side. Yeah, we're the first people, the first secular people that have ever ventured this far in. Yeah.
Yeah, the lightsabers represent the word of God and nothing else. Not penises, not
No.
a famous sci-fi
No.
franchise, nothing else. Just the word of God. How did you not get that?
Yeah, and then they say they're like, you know, they say that bizarre line that Eli was talking about how they would kill each other if they weren't laughing. I don't get that, man. That's
Yeah, their podcast is about to go on a break. You know what I'm saying?
it seems so unnecessarily violent. It came out of nowhere, and it's like, if we didn't laugh, we'd kill each other.
Coach is unable to join us this week.
It's like a serial killer, like the pre-confession for the
Right.
serial killer.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have we checked in on Willie Ames? Jesus. So yeah, and then there's this very, like, you know, we laugh a lot on the thing, but we're very serious. We all worked very hard to make this happen, and I'm like, man, somehow that was the saddest thing in your episode
Yeah, that's
about
worse.
sadness.
You've made it worse. Yeah. I'd really love it if you had just been like, we half-assed this thing. I don't know
no,
why
we're
you're
just
watching.
having fun. Everybody's having fun here. Yeah, that would have been.
Christians will buy whatever, am I right? Cha-ching! Honestly, if this had ended with cha-ching, I would respect Bible Man more than I ever had.
Yeah, no kidding. So,
I would love to have seen someone just break down in the middle. Like, we went from small pyro to bigger pyro and some oh, God, what are we doing?
The human spirit cries out to make art. Ah! Michael, tell your mother I love her. Pit! And then the episode starts all over again.
We're really
Beautiful
doing the
cycle.
never-ending story over here.
yeah,
Yes,
right,
thank
right,
you.
Yeah, that last one had a sequel and everything. That
My
can't be
fellow
right.
AO3 reader gets it.
All right, well, Cecilia, Reno, that ends the show. Hopefully hopefully this isn't the last time we can hang out and chat together. I want to thank you so much for suffering through this video and for hanging out with us today. Was it all that you hoped it would be?
All that and less.
All right, well, that's all we can ask for. And a quick reminder for our listeners that would like to hear more from you, where should they go?
They should go to Comic Dissection on any of their little podcatchers. We also have a Comic Dissection Patreon, and we are on all the social medias. So if you do a Google, you should be able to find us.
Awesome.
Or just look in the show notes of any episode.
Yeah, providing
Of
that
any
Google
episode? We're
isn't
putting you in all
totally.
our show notes now.
Please.
Yes.
Yeah, if you don't mind. The
Oh,
show notes
your
for this one,
episodes.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but the show notes for this episode will have a link to all of that stuff in case you don't want to bother to Google it. All right, well, thank you again so much, and that is going to do it for our review of Bible Man, The Incredible Force of Joy, but it is not going to do it for the episode just yet because we still need to fall back into this pit. So, Eli, tell us, what's on deck?
All right, Noah. Well, we will be reporting live from Nashville, where we'll be watching Donald James Parker's latest masterpiece, Pickleball Princess.
Oh, I've been looking forward to / dreading this for a while. So, with that to look forward to, we're going to bring episode 484 to a merciful close. Once again, a huge thanks to Cecilia and Rena for more from them on Comic Dissection, and perhaps even a huger thanks to all the Patreon donors that help make the show go. If you'd like to count yourself among their ranks, you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/godawful, and thereby earn early access to an ad-free version of every episode. You can also help a ton by leaving a 5-star review and by sharing the show on all your various social media platforms. And if you enjoyed this show, be sure to check out the sibling shows, The Scanning Alias, Citation D&D Minus, and The Skepticard, available wherever podcasts live. If you have questions, comments, or cinematic suggestions, you can email godawfulmovies@gmail.com. Tim Robertson takes care of our social media. Our theme song was written and performed by Ryan Slavik and the Village of on Mars. All the other music was written and performed by our audio engineer Morgan Clark and was used with permission. Thanks again for giving us a chunk of your life this week. For Heath Enright and Eli Bosnick, I'm No Illusions, promise to work hard to earn another chunk next week. Until then, we'll leave you with the Breakfast Club close.
Coates never did get his own vehicle and started wearing an eye patch he swore was really hip to compensate.
Ludicrous went and fucked himself, apparently.
Bible Man went on to fight the Sultan of Schizophrenia and the Dame of Diabetes till he was arrested for selling ass bleach for autism. Cecilia, say skibbity Ohio.
Skibbity, Ohio.
Alright, Morgan, you have no fucking idea what the four of us have been through together over the
I
last
tried to
10
betray you
minutes.
right away, Morgan. I want you to know I tried to sell you out right away.
Cecilia's audio cut out, and then we couldn't figure out why, and we tried like 11 different goddamn things together, and then eventually it just started working again out of fucking nowhere, right as we gave up. Right as we had just said, well, I guess we're gonna all give up, and Reno and Cecilia just have to share one fucking microphone, and Morgan will be so pissed at me, and then suddenly, it's like, boom, they came back as though you
Morgan
were
is God.
Right.
Yeah.
But Morgan, I want you to know I was ready for them to share a mic right away. Right away. This would have been a 0-second fix were I in charge. No Illusions fought hard for you. Fought hard for the audio quality of this podcast.
Yeah. It worked eventually. Well, hopefully. Hopefully. Let's not count our chickens just
We'll
yet.
find out, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Talk fast.
And I always do, buddy. And apologies in advance, Morgan. There will be some lightsaber noises in this.
Yeah, fucking get ready to put in some work.
Yeah. The preceding podcast was a production of Puzzle and a Thunderstorm LLC, copyright 2024, all rights reserved.
ET is Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but it's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same.
Thanks for watching, Scapers. I'm falling asleep over here. We got Rangers today, though. We're just kind of doing a stretch goal. I wanted to get Scepter so I could do Toa. I mean, I don't need no Scepter. You know what I mean. But, you know, so I could get there a little quicker. I needed the Plunder for at least to do the tier 8 once anyways. Hoping to get that Scepter may be a bit of a stretch goal, but I know it ain't too rare in leagues. I'm sure if I kept grinding it during work or something, it would show up. Yep, that's it. Alright, folks. Thank you for watching. We're doing it, folks. We're doing it. Look at this account. Look at this account. Look at me, man. You can't stop me, man. Dog Sword. Pegasians. I already got my Sori helmet. I got my Armadillo, bro. I got me a Fury and a Regen bracelet and a Fire Cape, bro. We're doing it. And I got this pet. Maybe from another league. Doesn't matter. I think it's still a badass motherfucking pet. I wish I was. It ain't even that late, man. But I can't do this no more. I worked a whole day worth of working, and then I tried to do some scaping. And I got me the booties. That was the big deal. Alright, folks. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.